顶礼坛城做观想大礼拜，礼拜根本传承上师及诸佛。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三引，而拜诸菩萨。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三引，三拜诸护法金刚。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三引，四平等以齐手。恭请法王圣尊莲生活佛升法王座。请师母上座，请仁波切诸位上师上座，教授师、法师请上座，同门善信大德请就座。今晚的同修，我们首先欢迎廖东洲大使及夫人朱迪师姐，欢迎周慧芳律师，也欢迎大家来参加同修。同修莲华生大士本尊法开始，观想真佛宗传承。南无大日如来。南无佛眼佛母，南无阿弥陀佛，南无莲花童子，南无莲生活佛。观想师尊与诸佛菩萨诸灵感光加持，持莲花童子行走七遍。唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，唵咕噜莲生悉地吽。唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，做四无量观，观想右手边有父系亲人，
ancestors and relatives from the father side on your right,
左手边有母系亲人，
from the mother side on your left,
后方有恩人师长，
friends and teachers behind you,
前方有冤亲债主，
enemies and karmic creditors in front of you.
四周有六道众生团团围绕，
All sentient beings around you, together practicing tantric dharma and ultimately attaining Buddhahood.
做惊醒手印，
Wake up call.
念清净咒及安土地真言。唵
Recite
修利
purification
修利
mantras
玛
and
哈
deity
修利修
mantra.
修利娑哈。唵修多利修多利修摩利修摩利娑哈。唵哇热那丹呵呵吽。南无萨曼多摩多兰。唵多罗多罗德维娑哈。念招请咒。唵
Recite
啊
invocation
吽
mantra.
娑哈。唵啊吽娑哈。唵啊吽娑哈。众弟子一心奉行。南无宏观圣冕金刚上师莲生活佛。南无宏观圣冕金刚上师莲生活佛。南无宏观圣冕金刚上师莲生活佛。同修主尊，南无莲华生大士。同修主尊，南无莲华生大士。同修主尊，南无莲华生大士。南无中央毗卢遮那佛，南无东方阿阇佛，南无西方阿弥陀佛，南无南方宝生佛，南无北方不空成就佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛， 南无药师佛，
Namo
南
Medicine
无无
Buddha,
极药师
Namo
金木
Golden
大
Marble of
天
the
尊，
Primordial
南无
Jetpal,
地藏
Namo
王菩萨，
Siddhikara
南无
Bodhisattva,
莲花童子， 南无观世音菩
Namo
萨， 南
Padmakumara,
无文殊师
Namo
利菩萨，
Avalokitesvara
南无
Bodhisattva,
弥勒菩
Namo
萨，
Manjushri
南无
Bodhisattva,
金
Namo
刚萨埵，
Maitreya
南无
Bodhisattva,
准
Namo
提佛
Vajra
母，
Sutra,
金
Namo
刚护
Jundi
法
Buddha
通
Mother,
行诸
all
天
Hedukas
神众，
Dhammapalas
十
Dakinis
方
and
三世一
divinities,
切
all
佛，
Buddhas
一
of the
切
three
菩萨
types in the
摩
ten
诃萨，
directions, all
南无
Bodhisattvas
摩
and
诃佛
Mahasattvas,
耶
Namo
波
Maha
罗蜜
Prajna
多。
Paramita.
做观想大礼拜，一拜根本传承上师及诸佛。嗡啊吽，观想
First to
顶
root Guru
礼，
and all
回天
Buddhas,
心善印，二拜诸
second to all
菩萨。嗡
Bodhisattvas,
啊吽，观想顶礼，
visualize
回
or
天
position
心
in the
善
ground.
印，三拜诸护法金刚。
Third to all
嗡
Hedukas and Dharma
啊
protectors.
吽，观想顶礼，回天心善印，是平等无
Fourth head
起
bow.
手。 大曼达供养，受戒供养手印，观想公平变化无量无边，布满
Form
虚
the offering
空。
mudra and visualize the transformations of the offerings to fill the whole cosmos.
上供根本传承上师，历代传
Make the offering
承祖
above to the
师，
lineage root guru,
同
all
修
the
祖
lineage
尊
gurus, the
莲
mediator
华
of the
生
good
大
practice
师
Guru
以及眷
Padmasambhava,
属，十方
and
三
his
世一
retinue,
切诸
and
佛
all Buddhas,
萨
Bodhisattvas,
金刚
Hedukas,
护法
Dhammapalas,
同天
Dakinis, and
通行
divinities, and below to
下
all
施
sentient
六
beings.
道众生。念供养赞及供养咒，须弥四周
Recite
并日
offering verse
月，
and
化
mantra,
诸
one
珍
Meru,
宝
four
供
continents
养
and sun
佛，
and moon,
种种真
transform into
启诸
precious
功
offerings
德
for，the
消业速速
Buddhas.
正
May
菩
this
提。
wondrous treasures and
嗡
merits
萨尔
first
瓦
become
达
to
塔
all
嘎
of us
达伊达
civilization.
木咕噜那那门扎那嘎尼尼耶达雅密。 做四皈依观想，观想根本传承上师，历代传承祖师，一切诸佛
Visualize our lineage
法
root
宝
guru, all
僧
the
宝
lineage
结
gurus,
合
Buddha
起
jewel,
来，
Dhamma jewel,
成
Sangha
为
jewel
大
to
白
form
光，
bright
给
white
自
light
己
to
灌
empower
顶。
us.
念四皈依咒：南无咕噜贝，南无布达耶，南无达摩耶，南无僧伽耶。 南无咕噜贝，南无布达耶，南无达摩耶，南无僧伽耶。 南无咕噜贝，南无布达耶，南无达摩耶，南无僧伽耶。 做披甲护身，手结金刚合掌手印，念金刚手菩萨真言七
Recite
遍。
Pajapani
嗡
mantra
波罗
7
兰遮里，
times.
嗡波罗兰遮里，嗡波罗兰遮里，嗡波罗兰遮里，嗡波罗兰遮里，嗡波罗兰遮里，嗡波罗兰遮里。 恭诵一遍《高王观世音经》，奉请八大菩萨。
Recite
南
High
无
King Kuan
观
Yin
世
Sutra.
音菩萨摩诃萨，南无弥勒菩萨摩诃萨，南无虚空藏菩萨摩诃萨，南无普贤菩萨摩诃萨，南无金刚手菩萨摩诃萨，南无妙吉祥菩萨摩诃萨，南无除盖藏菩萨摩诃萨，南无地藏王菩萨摩诃萨，南无诸尊菩萨摩诃萨。 观世音菩萨，南无佛，南无法，南无僧。佛国有缘，佛法相应，常乐我净，有缘佛法。南无摩诃般若波罗蜜是大神咒，南无摩诃般若波罗蜜是大明咒，南无摩诃般若波罗蜜是无上咒，南无摩诃般若波罗蜜是无等等咒。 南无净光密密佛，法藏佛，狮子吼神诸幽王佛，佛告须弥灯王佛，法护佛，金刚藏狮子游戏佛，报胜佛，神通佛，药师琉璃 光王佛、普光功德三王佛、善住功德宝王佛、过去七佛、未来显劫千佛、1500佛、15000佛、500花生佛、百亿金刚藏佛、定光佛、六方六佛名号。东宝光月殿月妙尊音王佛、南方树根花王佛、西方照晚神通焰花王佛、北方月殿清净佛、上方无数精进保守佛、下方善济月音王佛、无量诸佛、多宝佛、释迦牟尼佛、弥勒佛、阿处佛、弥陀佛，中央一切众生，在佛世界中者，行诸于地上，即在虚空中，此由于一切众生，各定安稳修习，昼夜修持，心常求诵此经，能灭生死苦，消除诸毒害。南无大明观世音，光明观世音，高明观世音，开明观世音，药王菩萨、药上菩萨、文殊师利菩萨、普贤菩萨、虚空藏菩萨、地藏王菩萨、清凉宝山一湾菩萨、普光王如来化身菩萨，念念诵此经，七佛世尊即说咒曰：尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼呵那得。尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼呵那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼呵那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼呵那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼呵那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼呵那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼呵那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。十方观世音，一切诸菩萨，是愿救众生，称名悉解脱。若有智慧者，因情未解说，但是有因缘，读诵口不错，诵经满千遍，念念心不绝。火焰不能伤，刀兵你摧折。怒生欢喜，死者变成活。莫言此事虚，诸佛不忘说。高王观世音，能救诸苦厄。临危急难中，死者变成活。诸佛语不虚，是故应顶礼。此诵满千遍，众罪皆消灭。后福坚信者，专攻受此经，愿以此功德普及于一切。诵满1000遍，众罪皆消灭。高王观世音经中。共念7遍往生咒。南无阿弥陀佛耶，多他伽多耶，多得亚他，阿弥尼多波比，阿弥尼多斯坦波比，阿弥尼多比迦南得，阿弥尼多比迦南多，迦尼尼迦迦那，吉多迦尼娑哈。南无阿弥陀佛耶，多他伽多耶，多得亚他，阿弥尼多波比，阿弥尼多斯坦波比，阿弥尼多比迦南得，阿弥尼多比迦南多，迦尼尼迦迦那，吉多迦尼娑哈。南无阿弥陀佛耶，多他伽多耶，多得亚他，阿弥尼多波比，阿弥尼多斯坦波比，阿弥尼多比迦南得。阿弥尼多比迦南多，迦尼尼迦迦那，吉多迦尼娑哈。南无阿弥陀佛耶，多他伽多耶，多得亚他，阿弥尼多波比，阿弥尼多斯坦波比，阿弥尼多比迦南得。阿弥尼多比迦南多，迦尼尼迦迦那，吉多迦尼娑哈。南无阿弥陀佛耶，多他伽多耶，多得亚他，阿弥尼多波比，阿弥尼多斯坦波比，阿弥尼多比迦南得，阿弥尼多比迦南多，迦尼尼迦迦那，吉多迦尼 so ha. Namo Amitha Buddha Do Tha Kya Do Ye Do Te Yatha Amini Do Bobi Amini Do Setan Bobi Amini Do Bigyanante Amini Do Bigyanando Gyanini Kyakyana Jito Gyani Soha Namo Amitha Buddha Do Tha Kya Do Ye Do Te Yatha Amini Do Bobi Amini Do Setan Bobi Amini Do Bigyanante Amini Do Bigyanando Gyanini Kyakyana Jito Gyani Soha。首节根本上师大白莲花童子手印，观想根本上师大白莲花童子三光加倍。
Padmakumara mudra, visualize the empowerments of the three lights.
此根本上师莲花童子心咒21遍。 Om Guru Lian Sheng Siddhi Hom 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 Om Guru Lian Sheng Siddhi Hom。 首节莲华生大士金刚印。
Form Guru Padmasambhava Vajra Mudra. First empty your mind.
念观空咒3遍。 Om Sobhawa Sutta Sarva Dharma Sobhawa Sutta Hang Om Sobhawa Sutta Sarva Dharma Sobhawa Sutta Hang Om Sobhawa Sutta Sarva Dharma Sobhawa Sutta Hang。 观想一座蓝色的月轮，
Visualize in the sky a blue moon is arising from the glorious copper mountain of the inconceivable palace of lotus light at the Guru Padmasambhava's pure land. At the center there is a red 6-syllable she radiating bright pink light. Visualize the 6-syllable evolves to become Guru Padmasambhava. He is wearing a crown, his body is light pink. His right hand is holding a Vajra scepter, and his left arm is clutching on a kachanka. He is sitting in a half-lotus position on a lotus throne in the sky above. His left hand is holding a skull cup filled with ambrosia and treasures. Visualize at our crown chakra there is a Om, 6-syllable radiating white light, A at our throat chakra radiating red light, and Hom at our heart chakra radiating blue light. These 3 rays of lights reach the inconceivable palace of lotus light at the glorious copper mountain to invoke Guru Padmasambhava. Then visualize Guru Padmasambhava's whole body radiates brilliant precious light, which merges with the ambrosia and urges upon us, purging all sins and karma, illnesses, and demonic obstructions, and they are completely gone to allow the emergence of our radiance and self-mastery. Then visualize Guru Padmasambhava from the sky flies to on top of our heads and decreases in size to become a drop of light. Our heart chakra opens to become a lotus blossom, and on top of the lotus there is a 6-syllable radiating bright pink light to invoke Guru Padmasambhava to enter the central channel. With the snap of the fingers, we become one with Guru Padmasambhava, inseparable and completely identical. Recite Guru Padmasambhava Hat Mantra 108 times. First perform Mala visualization.
持咒 Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Om A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se Ông A Hom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se 做九节佛风有三摩地。 加持八大本尊心咒及念佛。唵阿弥陀佛，唵嘛呢呗咪吽，唵本南无林多林娑哈，唵哈哈哈为什么耶娑哈，唵这里主里准提娑哈，唵真巴拉查楞查拉耶娑哈，唵阿吽贝扎咕噜贝玛悉地吽塞，唵阿吽咕噜贝阿呵萨萨玛哈连生悉地吽。德亚他唵贝卡兹亚贝卡兹亚玛哈贝卡兹亚拉扎萨摩卡德嘿娑哈。南无36万亿1119500同名同号阿弥陀佛。南无36万亿1119500同名同号阿弥陀佛。南无36万亿1119500同名同号阿弥陀佛。持除瘟疫度母心咒21遍。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉娑哈。请大家起念请佛注释祈愿文。具得妙善圣尊秘密主，十方世界佛刹成数佛，大悲有情海会众菩萨，五角金刚空行前顶礼，世间三毒炽盛业漫漫，身心摧折轮回苦无休。圣尊明念降生度迷情，三宝于是微光护群生，人天福田所依金刚身，受戒传法灌顶次悉地，佛子齐请注释转法轮，利乐无量无尽众生界。恭诵长寿佛心咒108遍，回向师尊健康长寿。此咒。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。 Om Amano Nitu Venti Yesoha. 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 Amano Nitu Venti Yesoha. Om 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 Amano Nitu Venti Yesoha. Amano Nitu Venti Yesoha. Om 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 Amano Nitu Venti Yesoha. Amano Nitu Venti Yesoha. Om 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 Amano Nitu Venti Yesoha. Amano Nitu Venti Yesoha. Om Amano Nitu Venti Yesoha. Om Amano Nitu Venti Yesoha. 回向 以此
merit
修行
dedication.
之大愿，
May the
速
great
成
vows
莲
of
华
our
生
spiritual
大觉，
cultivation
二
swiftly
者合
manifest in the
一
great
无分
realization of
别，
Guru
广度
Padmasambhava.
众生
May
到
both
佛
unite
地，
and are
愿同念佛者，
indistinguishable,
同
delivering
生
sentient
极
beings
乐
to the
国，
Buddha land.
上报四
May
重
all
恩，
uphold the
下
Buddha,
济
ascend to
三
the
途
rock
苦，
utmost
见
bliss, bring
佛
forth
了
eternal
生
cities from
死，
above,
由
delivering
佛
those in the
度一
three lower
切。
realms.
生佛中
Upon
众
seeing the
弟子
Buddha,
一
we
心祈
transcend life
愿
and
圣
death like
尊
the
五
Buddha. May
字
we
光
liberate
明
all.
化佛身，光耀
To
圆
Buddha's full
成体
disciples
强健，
wholeheartedly
大乐
dedicate the
自在
merits of
永
this good
相随。
practice.
愿
May His
佛长
Holiness
寿
five
住
wisdom
世
lights
间，
transform
与
the
佛
Buddha
同
body,
在得救
illuminate
度。
life, and bestow strong healthy body and
恭请
longevity.
宝王
May
圣
His
尊
Holiness
莲生活
continuously in
佛作
samsara to
众
turn
回
the Dharma
向。
wheel with self-mastery and great bliss. Homage to Guru Padmasambhava of the glorious Copper Mountain. Homage to Guru Padmasambhava of the glorious Copper Mountain. Homage to Guru Padmasambhava of the glorious Copper Mountain. We pray to Guru Padmasambhava to guide the Buddha spirits with affinity to be reborn into the pure Buddha fields. We pray that you bless us with all faithful followers with good health. We pray so that the pandemic disappear and coronavirus disappear. We pray to Guru Padmasambhava to bestow abundant resources, to bestow complete wisdom, and to bestow love and respect, to bestow accomplishment in subjugation. Homage to Guru Padmasambhavas of the glorious Copper Mountain. We pray that you manifest and teach, guide, and transform sentient beings. Guru Padmasambhava of the glorious Copper Mountain, glorious copper-colored mountain, and gods in heavens, gods on earth, may all calamities, may we be far from all calamities, may all calamities abandon us, let all disasters turn into deaths, may all of our prayers be granted. Guru Padmasambhava, by your unparalleled Dharma power, please subdue and subjugate the pandemic and the virus, and to subjugate all disasters and catastrophes, and to avert all bad lucks Recite 100 simple mantras 3 times.
Sato Samaya Manupanaya Peza Sato Tenu Padicha Zezo Me Pawa Soto Kayu Me Pawa Sopo Kayu Me Pawa Anolato Me Pawa Sarwa Sidi Me Purayata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitamu Sriyan Guru Hom Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Peza Mami Menta Peza Pawa Maha Samaya Sato A Hom Pei Om Peza Sato Samaya Manu Panaya Peza Sato Tenu Padicha Zezo Me Pawa Soto Kayu Me Pawa Sopo Kayu Me Pawa Anolato Me Pawa Sarwa Sidi Me Purayata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitamu Sriyan Guru Hom Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Peza Mami Menta Peza Pawa Maha Samaya Sato A Hom Pei Om Peza Sato Samaya Manu Panaya Peza Sato Tenu Padicha Zezo Me Pawa Soto Kayu Me Pawa Sopo Kayu Me Pawa Anolato Me Pawa Sarwa Sidi Me Purayata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitamu Sriyan Guru Hom Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Peza Mami Menta Peza Pawa Maha Samaya Sato A Hom Pei 做观想大礼拜，100根本传承上师及诸佛。嗡啊吽。
Okay, Homa is using visualization. First to good Guru and all Buddhas. Second to all Bodhisattvas.
啊吽，观想顶礼。
Visualize or procession the ground with the Buddha, thought to Herukas and Dharma protectors.
啊吽，观想。
Visualize or procession on the ground, release the mudra, fourth head bow.
念圆满咒 Om Brim Om Brim Om Brim Om Mani Padme Hum。 让我们以热烈的掌声感谢根本上师法王圣尊莲生活佛加持同修圆满吉祥。
Let's give a round of applause to
请
show
大
our
家先
utmost
观赏由
gratitude
真
to
佛
His
佛业藏
Holiness.
的一段影片。
莲生活佛说，
Now
在
let's
三摩地
watch
经中，
a video by
其
Buddha
最后
to
的
the
成就
point. Living
竟
Buddha
然是
Lian-Sheng said,
读
I am
要
reading the sutra on
二字，
meditation that the ultimate attainment in meditative
是独
concentration
自闪
is
耀。
solitary
突然间，
brilliance.
我有了纯
All of a
纯
sudden,
之
I have
思，
this utterly
是
pure
感性
contemplation,
在闪耀，
immaculate
是
thought,
知性
which
在
is the
闪耀。
brilliance of the
是
emotion,
佛
the
性
brilliance
在
of
闪
the
耀。
intellect, the brilliance of the Buddha
我
nature.
愿我的思维
I wish
在
that
那
my
一念间
contemplation at that moment
放射
shines forth
心里
the
的
bright
光芒。
radiance of my heart.
由于莲生活佛
From Living Buddha
2016年
Lian-Sheng's
10
painting
月
on
心
October
中的念念画
2016,
作，构
entitled
图上
Thoughts in My
恰如其
Heart,
意的
he
放射
painted
心
the
里的光
rise
芒，
of light of
因
his
而
heart
选为新书
radiating
封面。
brightly.
而这
This
光
painting
芒就如
coincidentally
同
coincidentally matches this new book's
2019
topic
年
and
6月
will
画
be
作
used as
中
its cover.
大海之中任
This
我
rays
行
of，light is like his painting
我
from
见足
June
要分外
2019
迷，
entitled I Swim Freely in the
这样独
Expanse of
自
the
闪耀
Ocean,
着的。
seeing the
毒
solitary
药。
brilliance that is brightly
由于
illuminated.
作者
This
莲
way,
生
the
活
one
佛
emitting the
纯纯的
solitary
思维，
brilliance is the
是在俗
solitary
世五
brilliance.
颜六色、错综复杂
The
的环
author
境
of
中
this book radiates his
闪耀着，
brightness amidst the
为凸
colorful
显
and
效果，
complicated world of
真
the
佛波野
mundane.
藏在
He
既有
is
封面
the
上
solitary
再加一
brilliance.
层书衣，
To create the
期望
desired
这
effect,
在
the
您透过
Biboyik
阅读后，
especially creates
对于
another
作者
layer
纯
of
纯之
extra
思
cover for
可
the
以体
book,
会的更加湛
in
然
the
清
hope that
澈。
after reading the book you can
此
gain
外，
clearer
莲生活
understanding.
佛常说，
In
月球
addition,
有
Living
没有
Buddha
人
Lian-Sheng often says, Are
那么
there
请
human
问
beings on the moon?
在月
No.
球有佛法吗？
Is there
请问
Dharma
在月
there?
球有善
No.
恶吗？
Anything there
请问
referred as
在月
good
球
or
有
bad?
荤的有素的吗？
Any
它
plant-based
是
or
经过
animal
修行的
based
淬
diet?
炼，从二元论进入了一元论的思维。这种思维，
Through a long
莲
and
生活
arduous
佛
spiritual
就把它
cultivation,
称
his
为
views ran
纯
from
纯之
dualism
思
to monism.
而纯纯
Living Buddha
是
Lian-Sheng
绝对，
refers to
是
this
纯
kind of
粹，
contemplation
是
as
一，
immaculate
是零。
thoughts.
这是至
Immaculate
高的境
refers
界。
to zero, to
这些
one,
思
to
维的演
zero,
变
to the
与经
highest
历，
realm. They are
作
the
者在书中
transformation and
运
progression
用现
of
实
his
的案例，
contemplation.
篇
The
篇文
author
章的导
used
引，
real-life
让
examples
我
in
们体
each of the
悟
articles to
如何
guide us
从无
from
所得，
having nothing to gain
进而
to
无所
progress
求。
into nothing to
由
ask
于因
or
无所
expect,
求
and from
而
nothing
无
to
心
expect, one enters
无
the
我，
realm of no mind, no self,
最终深入到
and ultimately
人空、
to enter the state of
法
emptiness
空、
of human being,
人法皆空，
emptiness of all phenomena, and that all
空
self and
空
phenomena
空的
are
境界。
empty, empty, empty,
因此
empty.
真佛波野藏在书内附赠一张
Inside
莲
this
生活
book,
佛
D.B. Poya
2014
includes
年
a
6月
copy of His
空
Holiness calligraphy
空
from
空
June
复制墨
2014,
宝，祈愿
which
大
is
家
empty,
一起回
empty,
归真
empty,
佛。
with the wish
所
that
以
everyone will
敬
become a
请
true
期
Buddha.
待即将于2021
So
年
please
9
await
月
its
5日
global
全
publication
球
on
同步
September
发
5th.
行的《莲生活佛卢胜彦文
Book
集》
number
第285册《
285,
纯
The
纯之思》，
Immaculate Thought.
让我们一起体会
Let us
真
all
如无所不
savor
在的禅
the
意，
inspiration
无所
we
求
will
的
obtain from
浪
this
漫
book,
诗意，
the
与
immaculate
无干
thoughts
涉的
on the
心意，
profundity of the
这些湛然
omnipresent
清
true
澈的思
substance,
维，
the poetic intricacy of nothing to expect, and the heart seal of none
这
of
是法
my
王圣
business.
尊莲生活佛的新书第285册《纯纯之思》，又有新的封面设计，大家都很期待。那么呢，西雅图雷藏寺呢将在下
This
周
is
六
book
9月
number
4号提前销
285,
售，
The
并恭请
Immaculate
法王
Thought.
圣尊莲生
So
活佛
next
签
Saturday,
书哦。
here
感
at
谢
the
师尊，
Seattle
谢谢
Lizang
真佛波
Temple,
业藏。
the books will be available for purchase and
敬
for
献
book
哈
signing.
达，请大家恭敬合掌。
The
请
offering
释
of
莲宁法
Hatha.
师代表全体弟子
Now we
向
would
法
like
王
to
圣尊
invite
莲生活佛
the
请法
Venerable
敬
Lian
献
Ning
哈
to
达，
present the
以
offering
表
of Hatha
最
to the
崇
Lineage
高敬
Guru
意。
as a symbol of the highest honor.
请大家一起恭敬合掌，恭请法王圣尊莲
Now
生
let
活
us
佛
join
做
our
宝
palms with
贵的
reverence
法
and
语
together
开
we invite His
示。
Holiness to bestow the precious Dharma teachings. Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Thubten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels at the altar, and the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. Homage to the main deity of the practice tonight, from the glorious copper-colored mountain Pure Land, Guru Padmasambhava. Sumo, Danzen Katso, Thubten City, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet. Good evening, everyone. How do you do? I stayed.
Hola, amigo. Te quiero mucho. Scoin. Ichiban. Kimochi. Ching. Yappy. Brin. Konbanwa.
Good evening, everyone. In the past, Guru Padmasambhava once said, as long as you respect the Guru, treasure the Dharma, and practice diligently, and you chant his epithet or name or heart mantra, then Guru Padmasambhava will appear in front of you. He has said that. He will appear right in front of you. Just now, when we practice his Dharma, Guru Padmasambhava appeared in the sky. And his Pure Land is the copper-colored mountain Pure Land. Oh, it's called Kamaradipa. And originally he was from Kashmir. So it was manifested from there. And then through the invitation by King Trisongtachin, he was in Tibet for 50 years. So he was like that. So Tibetan Tantrayana originated from Guru Padmasambhava. And Guru Padmasambhava, although he was the founder or the leader of the Nyingma of the Red sect, but he's highly revered by all 4 sects of Tibetan Buddhism. And before the Dharma teaching, I would first like to share a joke, or maybe 2. A native told his chief that, Big Bro, tomorrow is the first day of the lunar month and we have to eat vegetarian food. But we are cannibals, so what should we do? And then the chief replied, don't worry, there are a lot of people in vegetative state. In Chinese it's called a vegetable person or vegetated person. The second joke. Why, when you're old, how come You don't have the feeling of excitement where your heart beats.
因为乱转了这么多次，估计小路也就
In Chinese, it's like the little deer
刚刚我们
jumping
看
all
这个
over. And the deer, after jumping so much, probably died. So just now we watch what Tipipoye produced on the latest book, Immaculate Thought or Utterly Pure Contemplation. Perhaps when you heard the title of the book, that you may think that what I wrote there is about those little deer jumping everywhere. Even just the title of the book, some people already make wild guesses. Oh, Grandmaster is talking about his romance again. But I'm a monk in my 70s. The little deer is dead long ago. The deer's been dead long ago. But you're looking at me. Do I still have that immaculate thought? Yes. Is it the Buddhist kind of thoughts, or is it the kind of thoughts of the little deer, or the, fast heartbeats? You cannot mix them up. So now we move on with the topic of question and answer. Homage to the most beloved and precious lineage root Guru, Living Buddha Lian-Sheng. In the book Heavens Beyond the Heavens, there is an article about the pure goddess. So what is the meaning of that? Could you please advise us? The youthful goddess, the superb youthful goddess. So let me talk about the dialogues with the youthful goddess. How come you know so much? And she replied, I'm the consort of Kalachakra. And I asked, wow, that's incredible. As a consort, you have such attainments? And she replied that Kalachakra is an emanation of Sakyamuni Buddha. And I asked, can you tell me the unexcelled pith instruction? And she replied, the correct or the divine knowledge. And then I asked, what is realization or enlightenment? And she replied, absolute, not dualism, non-dual, which means no dualism. And this Lianhua Yaye paid homage and asked, what is the profundity of this non-dual? And the answer is non-dualism. So no non-dual, that means it's one, right? Single, mono. So just one answer, no second answer. What is the profundity of it? Now let me ask everyone,
如果你们回答这个问题，他问无二的
if
真义
you
是什么？
answer this
你怎么回答？
question, how do you answer this
有哪
question?
位那个上师大德，
Any
这
master
个法师大德，
or the
还有哪位
virtuous
大
one,
德？回答什么是无二？
the virtuous master, the virtuous reverend, and any
啊？
others?
哦，没有对立。哦，
No
不对立
relatives,
就是无二。
no relatives,
还有呢？
no
绝对
relativity,
的。
absolute.
还有呢？那个有无？啊？中道。还有呢？空。哦，色空不二。
Emptiness,
色空
that
不二。
form and emptiness are no different.
还有呢？
Anything else?
啊？法而本然，不可说。
That everything is
所讲的
natural and
全部都对。
unspeakable.
那这样
All
已
of
经
them
回
is
答
correct.
莲花雅
So that's the answer to 莲花雅语.
你刚刚他们所回答的你都听到啦。好。
So you
那
heard
你
it,
问
right?
的就已经答完啦。谢谢你。
Thank you.
现在我们这里高僧大德不得了的，
So
很了不起的
we have lots of
上师法师，
high,
还有在家居士优婆塞优婆夷，
high noble and virtuous ones here.
很高的，很高。修行到
Bhikkhus,
很高
bhikkhunis,
深的
upasaka, upasikas that have reached a very high realm in their spiritual cultivation. So have you heard 莲花雅语? That would be fine then.
再来
Next
台
question
湾的莲
from
花
Taiwan. 莲花洞.
什么东东？
What is this? 洞.
这个台湾有一个叫做莲花洞，它只有3个字，叫莲花洞。
So his name or her name, his name is only 3
我记得好像这个
characters,
相关的
莲花洞。
记者到了这个北极访问那些企鹅。
There's a joke. There's a reporter that went to the North Pole interviewing the penguins that was lined up on a line. So he asked the first one, "What do you do every day?" And the penguin replied, "Sleeping, eating, and then hit dong dong." Hit dong dong is kind of like it can do anything. Basically, it can apply to anything. And then the second one, and finally everyone replied the same one except the last one. How come you didn't say hit dong dong? And he replied, because I am dong dong. Dong dong is like things in Chinese, which can mean anything. So you're the one that was beaten, huh? 莲花洞.
请问师尊，如果一位有一半真佛传承，
If there's someone with half true Buddha lineage and half
修行者
Tibetan Buddhism,
相应的内法也有成就，
a spiritual cultivator with the lineage half true Buddha school, half Tibetan Buddhism, and he has gained spiritual response in his practices and has attainments in his inner tantric practices. But he was not a master of true Buddha school, but he starts to receive disciples. Can we give him a lineage? So his lineage, half is true Buddha school, half is Tibetan, and he has gained spiritual response from his practice and also has attainments in his inner tantric practices, but he's not a master conferred by true Buddha school. Is this person an ordained monk or nun? Is he or a she? And is it a lay practitioner? He didn't say it clearly here. He just said half and half, and has gained spiritual union and fruitions in inner tantric practices. Let me ask you another question. Who has proven that he has gained spiritual response or spiritual union in his practice? Who has confirmed that he has fruition in his inner tantric practices? Who has confirmed it, that he has attainments? It's not based on what you said. You can say, oh, I've gained spiritual union and my inner tantric practices have fruition. Now I can become a guru to my disciples. No, that's not the case. In the past I said, all of our Dharma masters are ordained monks and nuns. And you have to have been a monk or a nun for over 10 years. Then you can accept people as your disciples. So if you have been a monk or nun for over 10 years and someone wants to take refuge in you, yes, you can accept them. Our Dharma names start with the character Lian, which means lotus. And the second one is Gong, which means respect. In my opinion, Grandmaster has taken refuge in many gurus. Gurus from Mahayana Buddhism, like the Master In-Sun, Master Le Guo, the Venerable Le Guo, the Venerable Tao An. They were gurus to whom I took refuge in. Gurus from Mahayana Buddhism, and I have several from Tantric Buddhism, some that belong to Tibetan Tantrayana or the Eastern or Japanese Tantrayana. I have taken refuge in several of them. And the lineage includes Tibetan Tantrayana, Japanese Tantrayana, and Mahayana. They're all there. So if you have a lineage from you already have lineage from Tibetan Tantrayana, Japanese Tantrayana, and Mahayana, And now you're saying that you have half from the Tibetan lineage. Which one? But I have lineage from Nyingma, which is through the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. And for Kagyupa, is from His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And for Gelugpa, it's through Master Dupten Dorji. And for the Sakya sect, is through Master Sakya Zengkong or the Zhong Rinpoche. And yet you still take refuge in other Sadaka from Tibetan Buddhism. Of course you can take refuge, however, which one? Which is your true lineage? If you're an ordained person, then you can accept people as your disciples. If you are an ordained person that has been for over 10 years, then you can accept disciples. And if you have the true Buddha school lineage, then your disciples should have the Dharma name starting with Gong, the character, Chinese character Gong, which means respect. Now this is clear, right? So that you need a true spiritual union and true attainments in your inner tantric practices. You don't have to be granted the title of a master or acharya. That's just a ritual. That's just in the name. There are many upasaka and upasikas, the lay practitioners, who have attainments. It doesn't have to be ordained. Especially, it's really bad. Someone came to our Seattle Leisang temple, and at the door saw a monk or a nun, and they crossed their arms. What are you doing here? And the visitor stood outside the doors, or at the doors. I want to go in and pray to the Buddhas. Is it allowed? Sure. And they said, I've never seen a nun before would talk with their arms crossed. I've visited many other temples, and the bhikshus and bhikshunis always very kind and friendly. Welcome. Very happy that you come here to pray to the Buddhas. So, allowed or not allowed? Is there such a case that they're not allowed? And the face and the postures like that. And that was a big boss. And he has many employees, and he manages lots of people. And you treated him like that nun? Okay, one more case. A lay practitioner entered the temple to pray and bringing flowers and fruits and lots of stuffs. And we have several tables here. and they were about to put some of the longevity buns. And she said, you cannot place anything on the tables because it's for placing the longevity buns. And so the lay practitioner put the offerings on the table because she did not know. Of course, you could not place it here on the altar. It was prohibited to put offerings, but there are tables there, and she put it on the table and lit the incense to pray. And that person who said that cannot put that and got in and yelled, "Who placed it here? I told you cannot put it there." And then she took them down and put it where? On the ground? On the floor? Is that necessary? Just let her put them there, and after they pray, they would bring it back. Do you need to be so unfriendly, to be so... Who would dare to come in the future? They have to be so hostile. It's so bad here for us. This is the head center, the head temple of True Buddha School. And our hospitality is like that. It's so bad. The way Simu did, as soon as someone came to our house, they would be served tea. Would greet them and welcome them. That's why we have so many followers, because Simu works so hard to get the phones and to be kind and explain and always serve tea to anyone visiting. Master Tupten Dorji went to the Taiwan Lizang Temple. Nobody recognized him then. And lastly, Master Lian Wang saw Master Tupten Dorji. And Lian Wang was very friendly and politely asked him. He took a photo of Grandmaster paying homage to Master Tupten Dorji and showed it to Master Lian Wang. And then he realized, oh, that's the guru of my guru. And then he was very polite to him. But Master Tupten Dorji told me, nobody served me tea. I didn't even have any water to drink. How come we have so many followers? Because Simu served tea. Anybody visiting would be served tea. When I give spiritual consultation, each guest, each visitor would have a drink of tea. Our benefactors of the Lizang Temple, and when they come and visit, anybody here ever served the benefactors tea? Anybody here at the Seattle Lizang Temple? Please raise your hand if you have ever served anyone tea. Or you pour some of the Great Compassion water for them. Anybody else? I give them some bottled water. You need to know to be polite. The reason why True Buddha School prosper is because of our benefactors. Don't look down upon the lay practitioners. So the food that you eat is what kind of food is. It's given by your benefactor. They're all your patrons, your benefactors. Everyone that comes to our Seattle temple is our patron. We have to be polite. This is the basic of being a human being. And you still ordained, you should really be beaten. So, should we give that person a True Buddha lineage? If you truly gain spiritual union and has fruition, that depends on that person, not for us. If that person has cultivated spiritually, whether it's the noble lay practitioners or bhiksu, bhikshunis or upasaka, upasikas, and you have true attainments, and you want to accept disciples, whatever lineage you want to give, it's up to you. Grandmaster cannot meddle with it because you already have attainments. If it's fake, then that's the fake one. It's up to you. You decide for yourself. The second question. So a sadhaka that has lineage from Tibetan Buddhism, can they practice together with us? Can they see or hear the visualization of path instructions of the True Buddha School sadhana? So, if he relies on True Buddha School, a Tibetan Buddhist sadhaka relies on True Buddha School and receive empowerments, then sure, he can. But if he has not, then no, he's not allowed. Very simple answer. 3. So if masters or yogis from other schools have attended Grandmaster's ceremony and have gained spiritual union through his practice, but Grandmaster is just a guru and not the root guru, can he bestow lineage to Buddha School lineage to him? All these 3 questions talk about the mixture of True Buddha School lineage and other lineage. So the 3rd question. So if masters or yogis from other sects attended Grandmaster ceremonies and also has spiritual union with his yidam, and yet Grandmaster is just a guru to him and not the lineage guru, can he bestow the True Buddha School lineage to his disciples? Well, if he does not treat Grandmaster as his root guru, why would he grant True Buddha lineage to his disciples? If you have your own lineage already, why don't you just give that lineage? Why do you want to give the true Buddha lineage? That's such a mess. So, 莲花东东, we should beat 莲花东东 from the joke.
这个小学的作文题目，喝茶的好处。题目是喝茶的好处。
The title of elementary school composition, The Benefits of Drinking Tea. A student said, wrote, there are many benefits to drinking tea. My grandpa often goes to the tea house Wanhua, and his spirit is always very high and happy and smiling all day long. And then the score that the teacher gives is like, okay, let your grandma sign this.
这个另有含义啊！你如果是知道台湾这个万华茶艺馆的，大家都知道，就知道这个很好笑。
If you know about the Wanhua tea house in Taiwan, then you would know that this is a funny joke.
小明跟爸爸讲，今天
Xiaoming told his dad, today is a history exam, and it asked, who is Lao Tzu? And I couldn't answer, no matter what. And the dad said, oh, Xiaoming, I raised you for nothing. And Xiaoming asked, why? And dad said, you see me all the time. And you couldn't even think of it, that Lao Tzu is me. Lao Tzu. But there's a different meaning of Lao Tzu, which is like the old man. But actually, the teacher was asking about Lao Tzu, the philosopher. Today we will continue on the Vajra Sutra. Sibuddhi asked Sakyamuni Buddha, right? When good man and good woman give rise to the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, how should they dwell in their minds and how should they master their minds? I talk about Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi mind. And Lian-Zu Master Lian-Zu replied, the perfect realization and enlightenment. And then he took away a chanting bead, a wrist chanting bead. Now I want to ask you. I am asking now. What is the right? What is the right equality and the right realization? So, 正等正觉. Now it's dissected. Master Lian-Zu already said it's 正等正觉. It's easy to say, but what is the deep meaning or profundity of it? You have to know the most important meaning. Where is it? Sakyamuni Buddha said, when he attained the perfect enlightenment, he did the three turnings of the Dharma wheels. You know, the first one of the turning was at the deer park. That's the wheel of the small vehicle of the suffering, the accumulation of suffering. and the extinction of suffering, and the path.
我现在问你哦，
That's the first turning of the Dharma wheel at the Deer Park. Now let me ask you, where is the second turning of the Dharma wheel, and what was he talking about? Where and what?
二转法轮在哪里讲的？啊？鹿野苑是一转法轮。
The Deer Park was for the first turning.
啊，第一转法轮在鹿野苑讲的苦集灭道。
Talk about the Four Noble Truths. Grandmaster have talked about that.
二转法轮在哪里讲？
And where was the second turning of the
学佛那么
wheel?
多年，
You've been a Buddhist for many years.
释迦牟尼有三转法轮，现在问
And
二转
Sakyamuni
法轮
Buddha
在哪
did
里讲？
3 turnings of the Dharma wheel.
竹林精舍，
At
他讲
the
二转法轮
Bamboo
在
Grove
王舍
Monastery.
城，王舍城讲二转法轮。
Wang Se-chen
好了，
is
那讲的是什么？
and what did he talk about?
波叶，还有呢，
About prajna,
它的意义在哪里？在无相。
and the meaning is in the
无相
no phenomena, formless,
没有这个
no
一个相，无相。
phenomena.
现在问你，三转法轮在哪里讲？
And now let me ask you, where is the third turning of the
在
Dharma
哪个
wheel?
城？哪一个城？讲的是什么？
And what did he talk about then? 三转法轮在莲华城， The third turning of Dharma wheel was at the
讲的是了义。
Lotus City, and he was talking about the ultimate.
所谓正等，什么是正等？
So what is Zheng Deng?
无
Zheng
相
is the
就
correct.
是正等。
So
什么是正觉？
formless or no phenomena is
了
Zheng
义
Deng,
就是正觉，
and the ultimate is Zheng
这很
Jue.
深了吧？我讲的
Liao Yi is Zheng Jue.
啊，金刚
The
经本来
ultimate
就很
is the
深了
perfect
啊
enlightenment. This is very deep and
讲无相
profound, right?
就是
And
正
Vajra Sutra is very profound. So when it talks about
讲两个
no
字
phenomena, that's
什
Zheng
么是
Deng.
正等？
So it talks about two
平
wisdom.
等性质
What is Zheng Deng, which is the
就是正义，
correct equality. So the nature of equality
大圆镜智
and the mirror-like wisdom, that's the ultimate.
佛法里面的两个非常重要的，
These
释
are
迦牟尼
two
佛
very
说
important
三转法
key points in
讲
Buddhism.
出他的正
So
等
Sakyamuni Buddha
第一个
gave
是
3 turnings of the
灭道，
Bodhidharma
真理，
and talk about the highest and perfect
土
enlightenment.
地、极地、
So it talk about the 4 noble
道
truths.
地、灭地，
So sufferings,
全部
the
都是正
accumulation of
小地
sufferings, the way to
这个
extinguish
言论
sufferings,
非
and the
常
path.
这个地日
So
就是
truth,
真理，
that's
土
the
地
truth.
灭道就是
So
真
the
理
4 noble truths, that's the ultimate truth.
平等
And equality
就是真理，
is also the ultimate truth.
圆满、了义、
Perfect. And the
无相
ultimate,
也
that's
是真理。
also the truth.
金刚经里面讲的就
And
是
formless or no phenomena is also the truth. And Vajra Sutra is talking about this.
啊，大家
正
用脑
等正
筋稍微
觉
想一想看，
the correct equality and the perfect enlightenment. So you need to understand this. So as I continue to expose Vajra Sutra, you will understand what is this Zeng Teng Zeng Jue. Third, chapter 3, the great vehicle, the proper great vehicle. Chapter 3, the great vehicle, what is that? Tantrayana is also one kind of the great vehicles. So remember, Tantrayana is also Mahayana or great vehicle. Great vehicle includes many different sects. So what is the proper, the true meaning, the ultimate, the authentic, the ultimate of the great vehicle? The Buddha told Subhuti, all bodhisattvas should master their minds in the following way. All sentient beings, whether they are born from eggs or wombs, through moisture or emanations, whether they are tangible or intangible, with or without thoughts, or without thoughts and no thoughts, I will liberate and deliver them without remains. However, no sentient beings are liberated or delivered. Why is this, Subhuti? Because if a bodhisattva holds a view of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan, then he is not a bodhisattva. So this excerpt here has matched the correct equality and perfect enlightenment. So the Buddha said, whether born from eggs or wombs, through moisture or emanations. So let's talk about this first. Born from eggs. We ate tomato fried eggs. Eggs, that's ovum. When I was a soldier in the military, when I was in the military school, there people always like that. It's the tomato fried eggs. We often eat it here too. So as monks, it's about like the soldiers. I'd eat tomato fried eggs every day. So born from eggs. I've been here for so long, but I've never eaten any turtle's eggs. So turtles are born from eggs too. They were hatched from eggs. That's why we also have turtle's eggs. That's the reason. Someone went to the restaurant to eat tortoise or turtles. There were 5 of them, and they called on the waitress. They wanted to eat turtle at the restaurant and asked the waitress to divide it into 5. And the waitress said, no, I cannot do it. It's impossible for me to do it. Why? Because but there are 6 turtle eggs and 5 for you, but turtle eggs in Chinese is 2. to curse on the son of a bitch. So of 5 of you, there are 6 sons of bitch, or turtles, eggs. So that's born from eggs. And what is born through moisture? Many of them. All living beings in water, and they are all called born through moisture. There are many of them. So a true vegetarian, they should not get vaccines. You know why? Because if you get vaccinated, then you kill the coronavirus. Because the virus also a living being. They're alive. Right? So vegetarians just can die. You kill. Because if you get vaccinated, you kill them, right? They are born through moisture. Many viruses, many germs. A cup of clean water has 84,000 germs in it. If you don't chant mantra, you're killing them. You're performing the act of killing. Even the plants are also living beings. And you pull them out, and when you cut the carrots, they cried. So they don't cry if you pull them out. They can grow. They have cells. So you think not to kill, you want to be a vegetarian? That's wrong. You know who recommended eating vegetarian food is the Emperor Liang, Emperor Wu of the Liang dynasty. The Thai monks and nuns don't eat vegetarian food. They still maintained they're closest to the antique or to the ancient tradition, especially the Chinese Buddhism. It changed a lot. It changed by the Emperor Wu of Liang, with abstain from eating meat, and also to have like incense marks. In Thailand, they don't have those. Why do they ask us to have those marks or like incense burned? Emperor Wu of Liang, although he was an emperor, but he messed up the whole harem. He married the most gorgeous woman of his kingdom. When he placed the capital, so whoever lost to him, he would get all the concubines to his harem. So his real wife, the first wife, degraded that Emperor Liang. You know, ever since she never saw him again. You know, the Emperor Liang was a pig, a real pig, very horny. And how many children did he have? So the most gorgeous concubine, and he occupied her, and then gave birth to 2 daughters who had incest with uncles, etc. So it was very messy. It was really horrible. And Emperor Wu was really horrible. And we often use the Emperor Liang's repentance, but that did not belong to Emperor Wu of Liang. He asked the monks and to compile and to do it. It's not his. It's to pray for his queen. He was such a pig. He was really bad, horrible. And he saw many maids in the palace, and there was a breeze, and then lift up their skirts and saw her leg, and he wanted her for that night. Do you know the Emperor Wu of Liang? Every time he encountered adversity, he became a monk and went to the Tongtai temple next door. So just next to the palace that he built a temple, and he became a monk there. And then all of his ministers got him back, and then he became a king, an emperor again. And then every time he encountered a problem, he would become a monk again, and then they got him back again. And then the third time he became a monk again, and they got him back again. That's retribution. So lastly, he died of hunger in the palace. Where was I? I don't criticize Emperor Wu of Liang. He was son of God that built lots of temples. So born from wombs through moisture. So being vegetarian was set up by Emperor Wu of Liang. And then the incense burn, that's also set up by Emperor Wu of Liang. So that's why the Chinese Buddhism became what it is today. So born through emanations, it's from breath. All this COVID-19 virus came from the air. They were emanated, and they can transform, mutated. If you are isolated at home, you become mutated to become fat, become heavy. So emanations, it can transform. So with the combination of two, it would change. That's emanation. And then born from wombs, like human beings and many animals too. And there are also many animals born from eggs. Birds and avians also from eggs. But there are many animals born from wombs too. So what does it mean? Equality. Why Buddha talk about this? It's about equality. Whether they're tangible, intangible, with or without thoughts, or without thoughts and no thoughts, I will liberate and deliver them without remains. That's equality. So what is the nirvana without remains? What is, I have talked about this. There is no causes or conditions to be born, or no causes and conditions to cease or to die. So that nirvana without remains. You will not be born again and you will not die again. That's called nirvana without remains. So you have even worse memory than this old man that has bad memory. So whether they're tangible or has form, what this form mean? This form here is not about sex. Okay, Master speaking Cantonese about loving sex or tasting good. So how do you say it? So sex maniac is not this, okay? So it has forms or no forms. So what don't have forms? So what don't have forms? Like viruses or germs. But coronavirus has form. It's round and it has a wear crown. You can see it under the not telescope. Microscope. So ghosts have no forms. So the Bardo spirits also have no forms, right? So with thoughts, those with thoughts or those without thoughts, what things have no thoughts? Even plants have thoughts. Rocks have no thoughts. But strictly speaking, they have. Look at a gem, a jewel. They have some magnetic field. If you cut it in half, the magnetic field would decrease by half. It will not be shiny anymore. Or the other half would have, the other half don't. That's proven scientifically. It's hard to find things with no forms or without thoughts and no thoughts. So in between, no thoughts and no thoughts. So sometimes you have thoughts, sometimes you don't. Sakyamuni Buddha will liberate and deliver them to nirvana without remains. I had explained the nirvana without remains. So the one with no causes and conditions to be born or to die. And extinction and delivered. So of the innumerable sentient beings, so he had liberated and delivered innumerable sentient beings. Who would like to do that? there was a bodhisattva, a person, a bodhisattva that's doing that. He vowed in front of many Buddhas that I want to liberate and deliver all sentient beings. If I don't liberate and deliver them, if I don't apply my vow, my head would split. That's Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, who made this vow in front of all the Buddhas. That was called 11地佛。So 11, oh jeez, 100 million eons Buddhas, so many Buddhas. So if he abandoned his vow, then his head would split into pieces. So Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva was extremely compassionate, and the number of sentient beings he delivered is the most. That's all for today. Do you know why? This is for Chinese. That on the 1st of the 7th lunar month, the gates to hell is open, and yet the universal deliverance is on the 15th of the 7th month. You know why? You don't know? And the master replied, because they have to be isolated for 14 days. COVID-19. Oh, so the pandemic these days is incredible. Everything has to be 14 days. This is a joke, only meaningful to Chinese. It's okay. Yeah, it's more only meaningful in Chinese. Go to the shop called 28 to buy something. And where is 28? It's over there, around the corner. But isn't that called 7 times 4? But it's a homophone of the other name. Yeah, but 7 times 4, isn't that 28? So just go to 28. And there are many chain stores in Taiwan called that sounds like 7 times 4. That's all for tonight. Om Mani Padme Hum.
非常感谢法王圣尊莲生活佛宝贵的法语开示。雷藏寺有一些法务活动向大家报告。明天8月29日星期日下午3点，法王圣尊莲生活佛将在彩虹雷藏寺主持勾财天女护摩法会，讲授金刚经，接受勾财天女法灌顶。9月5日星期日下午3点，法王圣尊莲生活佛将在彩虹雷藏寺庆龄主坛每年传统的秋季大法会辛丑年阿弥陀佛超度西灾子护摩
Sunday at 3 p.m. it would be the annual grand ceremony for Baro-Deliverance of Amitha Buddha at the Rainbow Temple in Northern Washington. And on the same day at 11:30 a.m., His Holiness will perform the ritual of Sheng-yen, the Life Foundation burial ritual. And now we are inviting His Holiness to consecrate Buddha images and to bless the Great Compassion Holy Water. This ends the English interpretation today. Thank you very much.
顶礼坛城做观想大礼拜，一拜根本传承上师及诸佛。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三印，二拜诸菩萨。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三印，三拜诸护法金刚。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三印，四平等一起手。恭请世尊加持与会大众。同修会圆满吉祥结束了，感谢大家，网络直播到此结束。We now conclude this live broadcast. Thank you for viewing.